A few weeks ago, I met with about a dozen students enrolled in a comparative U.S.-France land use field course at Vermont Law School. We discussed the multitude of legal regimes that apply to land conservation in the United States: tax law, laws of charity and charitable trusts, real estate law and property rights, and the role of private initiative in accomplishing public good. It's often said that land conservation depends on the choices of individual landowners. That's true. And the personal decision-making extends much further. It involves the whole community. Land conservation depends on volunteers, on donors, on the skill of professional staff, on the vision and commitment that creates and sustains institutions that will endure to uphold the promises we have made to each other and the special places we love. Explaining UVLT to the students as we stood in the sun at the edge of the field at Cossingham Farm in Norwich, I felt so grateful to live here and do this work which all of you support. Fiscal year 2015 has been busy, exciting, productive, inspiring, challenging, busy. Since our last annual meeting, we've completed 12 more conservation transactions encompassing just over 1,300 acres of land. 2 working farms and a productive meadow now owned by a successful cheese-making operation. Some of the highest-ranked habitat in New Hampshire, sites that support significant natural communities, like a red oak, ironwood, Pennsylvania sedge woodland in Plainfield, vernal pools, wetlands, more than 1.5 miles of frontage on cold water streams, productive woodland extending and connecting forested blocks in Corinth and Plainfield and Hanover and Cornish, several miles of scenic road frontage, outstanding views of Mount Washington and Moosilauke from the Troy Farm in Bath, and views of Mount Ascutney from Cornish and Claremont. 2 more miles of access on trails and old roads connecting existing public trails. 240 acres, including Rick's Ledges in Lebanon, and 208 acres here at Ely Mountain, brought into UVLT ownership for conservation stewardship. In Pomfret and Thetford and Norwich, community members rallied to raise local funds needed to act on conservation opportunities, and they were wildly successful. These experiences demonstrate important gains since UVLT was founded 29 years ago. Community needs and conservation priorities, the where and why of it all, are much better understood. Volunteers can more confidently call on their friends and neighbors to accomplish important goals. Successful campaigns act on shared values and build goodwill and credibility. Each local story has ripple effects and strengthens the whole. So too with regional awareness. Increasing knowledge of conserved lands creates more and more opportunities for wonderfully diverse and creative programs with nonprofit and corporate partners. And these programs in turn increase the positive impacts of land conservation. Some examples. Conserved land along the Mascoma River inspired a collaboration of UVLT, AVA, and the Hopkins Center to offer a multicultural watershed-themed camp when musicians from the Nile Project came to Dartmouth College for an Artist-in-Residence program. Children ages 5 through 14 spent the week learning about the Nile and Connecticut River watersheds and land use and sustainability through art, music, and environmental education. The project brought together international musicians, educators from AVA and the Hopkins Center and the Hood Museum at Dartmouth, and the stewardship staff from UVLT. Kids visited the conserved land at the confluence of the Mascoma and Connecticut rivers. They saw a bald eagle. They rode advanced transit. They got the opportunity to draw in the Hood Museum and had a private audience with artists from the Nile Project and watched the matinee concert performance of the Nile Project from the front row. AVA's education director, Adam Blue, said the week was a treasure of an experience and one of the most ambitious partnership-based education programs that I've had the honor to work on thus far. Another example. At last year's annual meeting, I reported that an engineering division of Hypertherm had embraced our Lime Hill Conservation Area as an ongoing service commitment, and for the second year in a row, all employees of the division had spent a day maintaining and improving the trails there. Well, this year the whole group returned again, 28 strong, on their day, the Wednesday before Memorial Day. Our Facebook photos of their accomplishments generated these comments. Great job, amazing people, thank you. And, from someone who lives several towns away, we plan on going on this hike this summer. Can't wait. More. Upper Valley Girl Scouts, looking for a project that would bring multiple troops together, selected habitat restoration effort centered on Mink Brook and hosted at our Buck Road property. The result was much camaraderie and over 900 pounds of invasive plants removed from the forest and stream corridor. And there were 101 boats at this spring's 12th annual Paddle the Border. Kayakers and canoeists passed more than 7 miles of contiguous conserved farmland from Woodsville to Haverhill Corner before enjoying a cookout prepared by the Wells River Woodsville Rotary Club. The Ottaquechee, or O section of the Green Mountain Club, is one of the club's largest and most active chapters, with over 300 members. Now a program of monthly hikes with the O features end-to-end routes and loops that connect our conserved properties, such as from Levitt Hill in Grantham to Snow Mountain in Enfield, or through the Palmer Forest to the Pegjack Conservation Area in Thetford. These very popular trips showcase the scope of our conservation work and introduce outdoor enthusiasts to our stewardship programs. And there's even more. In the few weeks that remain before the end of the fiscal year, we expect to complete 4 more conservation transactions. Near the Appalachian Trail in West Hartford, 49 acres of woodland adjacent to a previously conserved parcel of 152 acres. In Lyme, a half-mile of frontage on Clay Brook and 40 acres of statewide significant agricultural soil. In Norwich, 70 acres of farm fields and 270 acres of forest as part of a collaboration with Vermont Technical College that will bring its agricultural education programs into our region. You'll hear more about that very soon. And we'll sign the papers and celebrate the establishment of the Rosemary Reeser Trail and the protection of Samples Woods on 9 a.m. Monday, June 22nd at the Norwich Inn. That project, supported by gifts from over 100 area residents, is a partnership with the Upper Valley Trails Alliance. Coming in fiscal year 2016, we'll continue our partnership with the Trust for Public Land to conserve the former Scutney Ski Area in West Windsor Town Forest. We're working to conserve farms in Claremont, Cornish, and Wethersfield, and a sugar bush in Heartland. We're developing a partnership with the Veterans Administration to build a fully accessible trail, that means wheelchairs, walkers, and strollers, to the wetland at Lime Hill. And we are working out an agreement to buy and conserve 1,000 acres at Smith Pond in Enfield. The more that we do, the more we can imagine, thanks to all of you who share your vision and passion, contribute your time and money and skill and knowledge, who come together to create lasting conservation solutions on the ground, right here and now, 45,663 acres strong and counting.